Brothers and sisters, misses and misters, out-of-towners and sit-arounders. My name is Dobie Maxwell, along with my partner in crime, Max Bumgardner. This is the Dented Cast, where we delve into subjects. If you were a dented can, you'll know what we're talking about. If not, this might not be the channel for you. There's a million other channels. This talks about the pain and how to deal with it from childhood. And one of the things that we're talking about today starts with L, and it is...
It's lazy. Have you had people, maybe your parents, that were lazy? Was your dad lazy?
Absolutely.
Was he?
Because he talked about everybody else. You're lazy, you don't work enough. He was the laziest one of all. He never did anything. But he beat my brother, called him lazy, called me no, nothing, good for nothing, don't want to do anything, lazy. Yeah, I heard it all the time.
You can't even say what he called you because it's highly controversial and it's starts with an N. But he called you that as a kid.
Yeah, he did.
You know, and that's just, doesn't that just hurt your soul still? Or no?
Everything about him hurts my soul, Max.
Yeah.
And I think that's why we're here, because some people mask it in alcohol and drugs. Other people try to, in my case, I wanted to get famous as a comedian because then everybody would like me and that pain would go away. And that's like putting a cast or a Band-Aid on your arm when you cut your leg. That's not where the pain is. So yeah, he was a piece of shit.
Well, my dad, who I did love, we talked about that. I idolized him. And there were some good things about my dad, actually. Quite a few good things. The pain and emotional abuse wasn't one of the good things.
Was he lazy?
Yes. Yes.
Give us an example.
Well, how about sleeping in your car at work while you're on the clock?
Okay.
How about hiding in the factory?
Wait.
Go ahead.
Back up on the car thing.
All right.
So he would, that had to be with other people at the job too, right?
Yeah, he worked in a plant.
So, and I've heard stories like that too. I worked in a shoe warehouse. We did that too, where the work gets done, but you sleep for an hour, you sleep for an hour, you sleep for an hour. Does that make me lazy? I did it too when I was 18.
No comment.
Okay, I guess I'm lazy then. Dad, you were right, Pops.
Yeah, so, or how about being on the couch all day Saturday, all day Sunday, just watching TV with a haze of smoke in the house, you know, in the living room. For people who grew up with smokers, I smoked for a while, and, you know, a long while. I don't at all. I can't even imagine doing that anymore. That's crazy town. But he would literally, like, just lay there and smoke cigarettes and watch TV all day. That's it. There'd be no other thing on the agenda at all. That's it.
Would you consider him an underachiever?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yes.
My old man said the same thing to me.
Yes.
I'm an underachiever, and I'm proud of it.
Right.
And to you, it might be nothing, but I went everywhere I wanted to go, and I did everything I wanted to do, and I'm happy with myself.
Right.
How do you argue that?
Well, you don't.
Yeah.
You just let it go.
And you don't aspire to it.
Right. So this show's about being a dented can and ways that we cope with it, but also trying to create a community. And I'm here to tell you, if you are lazy, one way to feel better is force yourself to stop being lazy by having rituals, things you do every day. And I'm not just saying this and don't do it. Dobie can attest. I do have a regimen that I follow. I mean, I do it every day. That begins with exercise and time with God, which is very important to me, journaling, reading really great things, not trashy, useless stuff or politics or Fox News or any of that junk, but really good stuff, putting good stuff in my head. And I'm diligent about it. I'm never lazy about that, every single day.
And I commend Max. I can be an honest witness watching that he does do it. And I admire him. I'll tell your face. I admire you to do it because it's very difficult. And looking back on, I think a lot of times people are lazy. I'm not Dr. Phil. We're not doctors. We're just people talking about life. I think people get lazy because they don't have self-esteem to try anything. They're afraid to try anything because they are ashamed if they fail. And that scares him. I could look back at my father. He never did anything because if he failed at anything, oh my God, the big front would come up. I could do that. I'm good at it. Well, I could kick anyone's ass. Well, kick someone's ass then. He's 5'7", the whole deal. But in his mind, he could beat Andre the Giant. And I think the same thing. Maybe your dad and my dad didn't do anything because they knew they were, they had something in their dents, whatever dents were in their can. They couldn't get out there and say, what you do, put it out there, what I do on stage. When you're failing on stage as a comedian, believe me, you know it. There is nothing more silent. You can hear a rat piss on cotton for 5 miles in a snowstorm when nobody's laughing. And the same thing, you told me yourself, if you don't exercise, you feel it.
Yes. Yeah. It changes everything.
You have cultivated in your life habits.
Habits.
Any success guru you want to talk about, we don't have to name them all. Talks about what is it? You make your habits, and then your habits make you. I believe that's Aristotle that said that.
Okay.
So true.
I saw him one time. Yeah.
Did you? I was the air master. But philosophy, that he's a philosopher versus action. Action is the big secret weapon to anybody's success. Taking action. They all talk about it, and it's true. It's hard to take action. And it's hard to take action, not just once, every day. You've been doing this for years.
Yes, I have.
Kudos, man.
I have, but I have an aversion to lazy. It's caused me problems at work. For workers, people that I feel at jobs that I've had that take the shortcuts that are lazy, I have a problem with them. And I shouldn't. It's not my business what someone else does, but in a managerial role,
it is your business.
It is my business, and it's caused me some problems with people. I just, if you want to feel better, if that's why you're watching this show, take the laziness out of your life. And what's really weird is on the other side of that, when you do accomplish, and like we were talking about habits, stacking habits. When you accomplish that and you get there, there's a new sense of self-esteem from that.
Accomplishment.
Oh my gosh.
Pride.
Yeah.
So give us an example for one thing to do. You got a lot of things going on. I've tried a lot of things, and it goes good for a few days or a few weeks, and then you fall back, and it's human nature.
Okay.
What is one thing that somebody could start today, not even tomorrow, today?
One thing you could start today is going to bed at the same time, reasonably the same time, and getting up at the same time. Google it. Look it up. That alone has so much power in your life. Just that. And anybody can sleep, right? Especially dented cans who are depressed. That's one thing we can do easy.
Buddy, I am Rip Van Winkle Jr.
Right. We can sleep, okay? But if you start going to bed at the same time, not all hours of the night and day and all over, because that's the first thing. That's the first thing I do. My first alarm goes off at 4:40 a.m. every day of the week except for Sunday.
When it goes up at 4:49. You sleep
Yeah.
1 minute. No,
so that's number one. You want number two?
No, I want to comment on number one because I think it is absolutely dead on, me being the total antithesis of that. My lifestyle as a traveling comedian for many, many years, couldn't do it. Get back in, the show, it ends at 10 or 11 or 12, depending on what town I'm in. And then I can't go to sleep right after the show, so I'm up till 3 or 4 in the morning. Sometimes I have to drive 500-600 miles. And then doing morning radio, oh my gosh, that's a whole other thing. I'm not making any excuses. I'm just saying that for people watching. Well, that's easy for you to say, mister. You live out there in the suburbs and you got your job and you go to bed and you forced yourself to do that. And I really respect you. And that's a good thing. I think that takes conscious effort. You don't just say, well, I'm going to do this. You got to plan your life around it, man.
Mm-hmm. Well, the other thing too is
number two?
Exercise. Exercise. So
this concludes this episode of the Dented Cast as I go and have a banana split.
Exercise. I'm not kidding. One of the things I took part in is the pedometers were hot. Like the Fitbits and stuff.
Are those bands, the pedometers and the Fitbits, did they work at Lollapalooza?
I still do that every day. I still get 10,000 steps minimum every day, no matter what.
How far is that?
5 miles.
This concludes this episode. No, Max, you're totally right.
Every day.
Yeah.
Every day. Every day. Every day.
Rain, shine, snow.
Every day. Every day. Yes.
Is it on a bicycle? Is it on a
No,
treadmill?
the bicycle's separate from me. Like this week, since we're taping this on a Saturday right now. Since the previous Sunday, I have 100 miles on my bike and 5 miles minimum walking every day.
Where do you walk? How do you do it? Do you do it alone? I mean, I've heard stories, and I've walked myself, and I do it for a couple of months or weeks, and I feel great, and then one day I'll skip, and then I don't do it for a while.
I do it alone, and what I started doing was I started listening to a podcast. The first person I started listening to way back when I started this practice was Joel Osteen, because he had a...
This concludes this episode. Sorry, man, busting your stones, buddy. You're my pal.
But Joel had a 30-second, still does, had a 30-second podcast that's all positive. So, I'm sorry, not 30-second, 30-minute podcast that's all positive. And so I would walk for an hour in the little town that we lived in at the time, and I'd load up 2 of his podcasts. And I just do that a couple times a week. Well, then I started doing it every morning at 5. And then I moved off of Joel and started with Joyce Meyer for a while, another...
Her husband, Oscar, makes a mean sausage.
Correct. She's fantastic. Seriously, if you're looking for ways to get out of what you've been in for a long time, that's kind of what we're trying to do.
A nasty funk.
Yes.
For years.
So, Joyce Meyer, and then I went to James Altucher and Tim Ferriss and, Joe Rogan. And so what I'm trying to say is anytime I walk or do anything physical, I've got something going in my head. So I don't have to think about the walk or the hills or the 3 miles or whatever. I never think about it. It's an automatic. And now, instead of doing that in the morning, I ride my bike in the morning, spin bike if it's bad weather or in the wintertime, or a real bike, and I never thought at my age, we're in our mid-50s, I never thought that I'd ride 25 miles before I went to work. And that's what I do. But the freedom right here and right here is, I can't even describe it to you. It's amazing.
If you could describe it, what would it be?
Well,
freedom.
Freedom.
Exhilaration.
Yeah.
Self-esteem.
Yes. Easier to cope.
Routine and regimen. There's something about routine and regimen.
Right. Easier to be kind. Because one day, without my routine, I'm right back. I can feel it coming back. Like you always say, Dobie. Dobie always talks about, days where he's bulletproof. Some people could call this bipolar disorder, for example, or that Dobie.
I'm nuttier than a squirrel turd, and I'm working on it.
Yeah. But I mean, they could. I mean, and people that do have bipolar disorder talk about this. Like you're up, and then you're down, and the down is so down. Okay, that's another benefit that I have right now. Still get down, okay, but it's like this. The scale, instead of like this. You see what I'm saying? That's the benefit from that.
Instead of like this.
Yeah. So, that's habit stack number 2.
Now, okay.
And we're talking about laziness, by the way. You can't be lazy and do these things. But you're doing it for you, not for somebody else.
Now, everything you read about says a habit takes 21 days to make.
Okay.
I don't think that's accurate. I think it's longer than that.
Really?
I do, and I could be wrong.
Okay.
Because I've done stuff for 21 days and feel really, really good, and then say, well, I'll just kind of stop.
Right.
And blah, blah, blah.
And be lazy.
And be lazy. I'm the first one. You're not pointing fingers. I'm the first one to admit it. Yes. And it does feel good. And I think that the reason we want to create a community is so Max can bust me, and I don't have to bust him because he does a great job of it. I don't know if your wife does or your kids do, but if you're listening, I want us to all get together and put on the comments. I did it. I'm a fat tub of whatever goo, and I tried to do it. Okay, unfatify yourself. We don't know you from anybody. Get out there. We'll support you. So I like my dream would be someday we could do a live broadcast where we could all go for a walk or a bike ride or something and do it together. No matter where you get the inspiration to turn your laziness around. Hopefully it's us, but it could be anywhere. Do it. I agree with you, man. I don't want to be lazy at all.
Do you make your bed? at all?
I think we're going to disagree about this one. I always thought that was a useless thing. No.
At all?
Never.
I do it first thing. Feet hit the ground. Thank you, God. Right out of the very first thing. Okay? Make the bed. Go have...
With your wife in it?
No. Go have... We get up early. Go have a shake.
We get up early. Sorry, man. I don't think anybody watches.
Everybody I know feels like Dobie. I know that. Okay. We get up early. But anyway, the bed's made. The bed's made. So before 5 o'clock in the morning, before 5 o'clock in the morning, I have 2 victories. Before 5. So, you know.
Yeah.
And when you're stacking habits, that's the antithesis of lazy. Lazy says I can make it or I don't have to make it, and it doesn't matter anyway. But the reason you're doing it's not because someone's going to see it made. You're doing it for yourself. That's it. You're doing it for yourself. You're not trading anything off. You're sticking with a habit.
My fantasy is when you and your wife are at work to sneak in your house and unmake your bed. So you both come home. Oh my gosh, nothing's going to be missing. No valuables will be lost. Just an unmade bed.
Also, greens in a shake in the water, actually. 10 ounces of water with powdered greens, super greens. I'm not kidding. Some beets and some Metamucil. I'm not kidding. I'm totally serious. I really do. I'm just bearing my soul right now. These are.
That's why we're here.
There's habits. That's habit number 3. Then I come down.
Wait. Every day you have this.
Yeah.
So not a bowl of.
Nah.
Granola.
A bowl of sugar? No. I don't have a bowl of sugar. So no.
Thank you, dietitian. So I have my Krispy Kreme whole wheat ding dong donut. Okay, keep going. You're on a roll.
All right. So that's 3. That's 3. And by the way, we're not even at 5 o'clock in the morning. Okay. Yes. Okay.
Max's grandpa was in the Civil War, and there's a musket here in his.
It's right behind Dobie.
I'm gonna beat Max to death.
Yeah.
No.
I'll point to it on the video. See that line right now? That line, that is a musket from the Civil War from Jacob Bumgardner. Anyway.
Dude, I'm kidding you. You know, I joke about it, but it's serious. This episode is so important because these things need to be done, and you have learned not only to do them, but to embrace them. And I respect that so much because it's for the long-term good of you, your family, and indirectly me too.
So,
as I sleep until noon tomorrow and have a Hershey bar dipped in cream cheese.
Just to round it out, though, then I come downstairs, the basement of our home. I have a little area where I have just a little light, a candle, and I read the Bible. Right now, I'm going through this whole year. I'm going through Proverbs. So 1 verse of Proverbs a day for an entire year. And then I write 3 pages of notes based on my thoughts, whatever it is. So if I have bad thoughts happening at the time, I write them down. Okay, and it works. And then there's other books that I use as well. But it works. It really works wonders. So my brain, before I leave, unlike Dobie's carbohydrate-filled, sleep-deprived brain when he leaves, I try to put myself on the right track before I leave the house. And then over my noon hour, what do? I walk. I walk from the office that I work at over to a park. I get in 2.5 miles, 3 miles every single day at the noon hour, unless it's raining. So those are just some simple habits that are the antithesis of lazy. It works. It works. And there is no, I mean, I've had a tour of duty as a dented can. I've been to so many therapists. You've ever been to a therapist, Dobie?
I've been to a couple.
Have you?
Not for long.
Right. Neither have I.
They locked the door and said, "You are so off your rocker that we can't talk to you."
Right. Well, how about meds? Been on meds? Antidepressants?
No, I never wanted to do that because the doctor I did talk to said it might be several incarnations before we get the right one.
Right.
And it could be several weeks of that. So.
Yeah. I tried Prozac. I tried, I want to say it was Paxil. I tried some other drugs. I don't take any medication at all. Zero.
And it shows. Dude, I'm not making fun of you, but I'm busting balls because to bear your soul like this. I have so much respect for you because what's the first thing our fathers would do? Make fun of it, pick it apart. They'd sit on the couch and pick their ass and do absolutely nothing, watching TV, never tried to do anything. It's a long story where I got ripped off out of some inheritance from my father and my uncle. There were two brothers. My grandfather raised the three of us. He said, no, I raised him as a son. He'll be incorporated in the will as a son. And my uncle did taxes back then. They were furious. My uncle had me sign my inheritance away. I was 18 years old. I would have pissed it away, as my grandpa said, on Hershey bars and Archie comics. I was stupid. It would have been gone. But they didn't do anything with it. You see what I'm saying? And your father is now gone. What is anything that is left of him? You're left, and your brother and your sister. But you are doing him proud, whether he deserves it or not. I want to say, joking aside, I respect you immeasurably for not only doing it, having the guts to say it on camera, and if anybody's chuckling out there, I will find you and knuckle you up, because what Max does is very difficult. You know what I'm saying?
It was difficult. It's not anymore. It's a way of life.
How many years would you say? I've known you for many years now. It's been several years that you have this lifestyle. And every time you told me you did it, I know that you did it. I know you, that you have no reason to lie to me.
Probably close to 10 now. I mean, we're 8 years in at least. Yeah.
So your wife too does it?
No, she does not. Okay. So yeah, no, I do it. So we get up early. She gets up early, but yeah, that's because of our jobs mostly.
Much respect, man. Yeah. And I know this might be pleasant, but it's so needed. And at the end of the line, when I'm having my third stage grabber and they're picking Cheetos out of my aorta, Max can laugh at me with his Metamucil and ale and kale milkshakes. God bless you, man. You're doing it right.
I don't do milk.
Oh, your almond dust or whatever you eat.
I'm not doing it right. All I'm trying to say is I'm really not doing it right.
You're choosing to make a habit. It's a great choice.
I'm choosing to stack habits, and I'm choosing to not compromise or be lazy in my approach to my mental health. That's the biggest thing. I'm taking responsibility.
You're the winner, and I'm the winner. And if you don't want to be lazy, the one thing you can do today is to hit the like button or subscribe to our channel, because we're not perfect, but we're doing it. And you're here too. We want you to do it. We are creating a community that needs to be created. And I'm going to have a hot fudge sundae right now while Max does his bike riding. We're the Dented Cast. We love you. We'll talk to you soon.